sure as heck have had an interesting experience recently. Boy oh boy, it is currently like 2:30 in the morning. Just got finished watching that great Death Note adaptation. Oh, what do I have to say about it? I mean, overall, I'll say it's still probably the best of the adaptations that I've seen. And I like how it really went for more of an individual type of feel. It didn't just take the source material and copy it beat by beat. And it gave it a little bit more realism. I'll give it that. I like the cast. I think it has some decent actors in it, like the guy who plays the dad on Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and he also plays the dad in this movie. I think he acted well in most of his scenes. Now the guy who plays Light, I don't know his name, he did a fairly good job acting. Let's see, the girl, she, I'd say she was the, how can I say this in a nice way? She's not a horrible actor, but she's not exactly a good one either. Overall, her performance was very just meh. The dude who plays L, who also plays that one guy in that movie Get Out, the guy who gets kidnapped in the beginning of it, yeah, he was a really good job as L. And overall, I think the movie was decent. Like, just overall, in terms of how films go, I wouldn't call it a good film. It's watchable, is what I'll say. So, yeah. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to mention Willem Dafoe as Riek. I mean, even though he's just the voice, because, you know, Riek was just a CGI monster. Now, on to my critiques. Guess I should go on ahead and say spoilers ahead, because, oh, there are spoilers ahead. Start off with the very beginning of the movie, where we just, where we have this girl who's just obviously so extremely edgy. You know, she's like in the cheer squad or whatever. She goes up onto the pyramid and she's just got her arms crossed like, I'm too good for all of this. I am so edgy. And from then on, like just from the opening montage of high school events happening, you can tell, oh yeah, she's an edgy one. She's probably going to be the whole love interest of Elle in this, the love interest of Kira in this movie, right? And she's just like a really crazy fucking person. I mean, there's nothing more you can really say about her. She's just fucking crazy. Yeah, that was just her character. She was the crazy girlfriend. She basically only cares about herself, and she pretends like she loves Light because he's got this book that can kill anybody. And yeah, she just wants to manipulate that because she's sadistic. She likes to see people die and shit. It's weird. It's really freaking weird. And then we have Light, who's just, you see, they try to make him seem smart by showing that he's doing everybody's homework, but you can get bullied into doing people's homework. That doesn't mean that you're smart at all. I mean, it's at a certain point in the movie, Elle's like, oh, you're a pretty clever guy. But, like, Light's done absolutely nothing clever this whole time. In fact, the whole way he goes about being Kira is so self-incriminating. You know, Elle's bodyguard or his, like, assistant or whatever, Watari or Watashi, or I'm really bad with names, but Watari, I think is what his name was. Light's whole plan with him to find out Elle's name is literally to just get Watari to tell him to call him on his actual phone, like just literally call him on his phone and tell him Elle's name. Like, oh man, it's totally not traceable at all. So, Watari, who were you talking on the phone with? Oh, you know, Light. Like, oh, really? Oh, why? Oh, you know, just telling him your name. It's like, oh my god, so he's Kira? Oh, I don't know, I guess so. Even Elle was extremely stupid in this movie. Elle is pretty much just dumbed down to, like, a whiny bitch. I mean, if we want to be honest about it. The way they prove that he's so smart, that he's, you know, he's narrowed down Kira's location to Seattle, is through some stupid deductive shit that, like, literally the police didn't figure this out on their own. He deducted down to, like, the first unusual murder that happens. Like, dude's got his wife and child hostage, right? And then he just all of a sudden goes out, walks in the middle of the street, salutes, and gets hit by a car. And nobody found any of that strange, especially with, you know, the follow of all the other deaths. And they wouldn't trace it all the way back to this one. Like, this seems to be the beginning of where all the deaths start. And like Elle said, that was exclusive to Seattle. Only people in Seattle could have known that that was happening. So the fact that the police didn't kind of, deduct that, it's just extremely stupid on their part. I mean, there's nothing more I can say about that. Elle's not smart. The police are just fucking stupid. Christ, now he's just a fucking full-fledged murderer. He just grabs a gun, locked and loaded, ready to just go clack clack light just whenever. Elle was on some gangsta shit. I'm conflicted on whether or not I like it or dislike it. Because they set him up to be so smart, so intelligent, but really he's just a troubled kid. Lives in a world full of idiots. As far as adaptations go, I don't know if it was trying to be smart. It wasn't smart, but I don't know if it was trying to be. Like, they tried to make Elle seem smart, like, oh, he's a top detective, but we haven't seen him do jack shit that was smart this whole movie. Literally, he's just been an emotional, candy binging weirdo. He's got all the weirdness of, the original Elle, but none of the smarts, really. And literally nothing in this movie is smart if you really want to be serious about it. I know it just seems like I'm ranting here, but maybe I am. Maybe I kind of am ranting. I really want to cry because I wanted the movie to be good. I wanted it to. I watched it, with high hopes. And, well, that's a lie. I didn't watch it with high hopes. I watched it with high doubt. I really wanted it to be good. And then it wasn't. And it made me really mad. See, and then there was this other part in the movie where they, make up rules that I don't recall ever being in the manga or the anime. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with adding new things, but you at least have to make those things make a little bit of sense and not just kind of just slap them on there for added tension. So basically, they made up this new rule to where you can burn a page of the book, like a page in the book to, like, save someone who you were going to kill with it. Light was originally going to, like, not kill Watari after he delivered the name. But then, all of a sudden, Ryuk comes up with a new rule just amidst all this discussion about it. He just makes up a completely new rule, like, oh yeah, so, on top of that, yeah, you can only use this trick once because reasons totally unknown to anyone. Yeah, I did not like that at all. You can't just go around making up rules all of a sudden. Light acted so surprised when Ryuk, just came out with this completely new rule, and we all know that Light is the kind of person that definitely didn't skip over a fucking rule, so he would have seen it if it was actually in the book. So obviously Ryuk did just literally make up a rule on the spot. Also, that brings up the question of, I mean, sure, if you burn a page, but it saves whoever's on that page, but what if multiple people are on that page? He said you can only use it on one person, so if multiple people are on the page, does it only do the first person on the page? Does it clear off everybody on the page? You're not explaining these things, and these things need to be explained. This part is probably the part that actually pissed me off the most. Literally everything was fine until this part. It's technically a plot hole if we want to be serious about it. Light, whenever he realized that he was basically caught, devises this master plan and writes a whole bunch of stuff in the notebook, right? To where it's a series of events. His girlfriend, if she takes the book, she dies, but she'll rip out his name, like the page with his name on it that she wrote in the book. She'll rip it out as she's falling to her death, and then the page will just oh so conveniently fall into fire. But last I checked, paper can't, be manipulated by the Death Note. So yeah, that was just never a thing. You can't just control inanimate objects. The whole paper falling into a pit of fire so that he wouldn't die as a result is just kind of bullshit if you really think about it. It's like, for one, oh, there's just a convenient fire out here for the paper to fall in, so, that's convenient. And two, no, you just can't control a piece of paper. You can't control the flow of a piece of paper into a fire. That's just not something that can happen. It's never something that's been able to happen in any of the adaptations. And the fact that it can't happen in this adaptation just brings up a whole set of just everything that could just be really, really wrong. Also, I want to bring up Light's motivations here. His motivations are basically the same as they are in, like, the manga and the anime. He wants to make a better world, such and such. The thing is, just about midway through the movie, he's just like, meh, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's just not. Let's stop. And his girlfriend, who, might I add, that he brought onto this whole plan like literally immediately. So the power of boners was definitely in effect here. Like, this man showed no hesitation at all to just simply just show her everything about how, yeah, I could totally kill people with this book. Just in the middle of the everything, of the big shebang, he just gives up on all of his motivations. It's as if he just had a turning point. Like, there was no clear point where it shows that, you know, this happened. So now he doesn't want to do this anymore. He's come to an epiphany that maybe this isn't the right thing to do. Now, there was none of that. He's just all of a sudden, you know what? I think using the Death Note is bad. And it didn't make any sense. It made Light a very weak and undeserving character, really. Like, you can't even root for him anymore because he doesn't even know what to root for at that point. What the fuck, dude? Not to mention that in this one, Ryuk's motivations are, I don't know if they even exist, to be honest. He explains that the Death Note has just been passed on to people, you know, the person to person to person. And that's like a weird switcheroo from, you know, the original, which I don't think that needed to be switched around at all, because, like, whenever you put it that a hell of a lot of other people have held this Death Note, now you're opening up a whole new can of worms of, like, how has this shit not happened already? Why don't we have on record already all the weird fucking murders that these other people have been committing? And Light did say that there were names already scribbled all throughout the book, so these things had been going on, but just never heard about it. In the annals of human history, this is the first time that anybody's ever actually used it and it's been noticed. Because why? Because this movie needs to happen, that's why. And Ryuk, what does he even want out of this? He's just passing the book on from person to person just because? Does he think it's just entertaining to see how different people use the book? The thing is, he sets it up like the book has to be passed on to person. Like, it's just something that has to happen. He doesn't set it up as if like, oh yeah, I'm just doing this for my own entertainment, my own purpose. Oh yeah, now to that final part. That ending, though. I don't know what they were thinking whenever they ended the movie. Were they thinking that these characters were interesting or dynamic enough that I'm gonna give a shit about if he kills Light or not? You do all that build up and then just smack everybody who looks at the movie in the face. Just backhand them. No regard for anybody. That's not a place where you end off a movie in dramatic fashion. Like, are they expecting to get a sequel or something? This is unbelievable. You just end the movie off like, I mean, shit, I beg to say that that was like the climax of the movie. I mean, I know the climax of the movie was at a different part, but the die down from what the climax of the movie was, just, it didn't work, because after that, then it just drags on, and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, had a big master plan. And it's literally, with Light's big master plan, they basically pulled the equivalent of that scene in The Princess Bride, where he's like, oh, I switched cups while you weren't looking, oh.
I switched glasses when your back was turned, haha, you fool!
I've been drinking a lot of energy drinks just to finish that movie. Oh, energy drinks and tea. Got to love it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about this movie. I think I'd give it somewhere around a D. A D+. I'll give it a D+. It had its moments. Some of the cinematography was actually really good. I liked some of the shots. Some of the cinematography was kind of bad. I didn't like some of the shots. As far as adaptations go, wasn't a good one, but it's still the best one that we've gotten so far. Best live action adaptation we've gotten so far, even though it wasn't good. Yeah. So, oh yeah, if you've actually made it this far into this video, hi. Yeah, and what the heck, this isn't Voltron Sins. Yeah, I thought I'd do a movie review. I might actually do more of these because, believe it or not, I actually love movies. It's actually one of my passions in life is movies. I've always kind of wanted to have a movie channel, but at the same time I'm like, nah. Anyways, I will see you guys later, and peace. Bye-bye. Light X so surprised whenever fuck, I am so bad with names. You know, he gosh, stuttering much. And it's really, really wrong. I am tired yet so awake right now.